When you find a house that you absolutely love, and it has really good looks, is that the only reason you're buying it? Or do you check the foundation and stability of it to make sure that you are safe when you come and live in it? I'm guessing you're just as curious about the second one, even if it's not that exciting. And it's also true about relationships. Your boyfriend's not with you just because you're beautiful and pretty. There are other critical aspects to a relationship, and the most important but ignored part are the conversations. Men always want a girlfriend who can truly understand him and have conversations. And what I mean by really understanding is not understanding how he discusses his problems or things like that. I mean how you can love him deeply without any argument in conversations by truly understanding men's mentality. Don't you feel like he's speaking out whenever you're talking? Or don't you think that he's not giving you enough attention when you are speaking? Don't you think that he is always offering solutions when you simply want to share your feelings? A few weeks ago, I asked myself how I could stop that. So I spend a lot of time researching information to help my relationship and for posting on my YouTube channel to help you as well. And the main thing that struck out was that men have a completely different psychology than women. And it's really important to be aware of that in long-term relationships. I learned that you'll inevitably wreck your relationship if you don't understand how each other's mind works. In this way, understanding the psychology of men makes it easier to respect your partner's sensitivities and to be more supportive. So there were 3 pretty clear unintentional mistakes that women make when having conversations that breaks a man's heart. And knowing those will help you to avoid them and derive qualities from them and make your partner love you even more. The most frequent complaint from women is that men always try to find solutions to everything they say. And why is that? Well, when women talk, they look for empathy and understanding. But men are like hunting dogs, however. Instead of going after deer and boars, they put down their heads to sniff out solutions to problems. Oftentimes a woman just wants to share her feelings about her day, but his partner, thinking he's helping, interrupts her by offering a steady flow of solutions to her problems. Men aren't incapable of empathy or emotionally cold. This is simply because a man's sense of self is defined through his ability to achieve results. And as John Gray puts it, men feel better by solving problems while women feel better by talking about them. So you can see that there are clearly some differences in men's psychology than women. This is a man's way of saying, I love you, I care about you, and I want you to be happy. If you reject his gesture of love, he feels increasingly useless. He has no idea that by just listening with empathy and interest can be supportive. He doesn't know that you're not inviting him to give solutions. This is just a simple difference in mindsets. There is nothing wrong with either side's approach, but you have to be aware to not hurt each other. So the first quality you can have is to simply listen to his solutions, even though you're not looking for them. Alison Armstrong states a very clear mistake that women make about men. Women think that men are shallow because women don't know how to listen to men. When you ask a man a question, he shifts from whatever else he was doing to focusing on that, and thinks about what he has to say about it, and then tells you the answer. The feminine way of being is you ask me a question, I give you an answer right off the top of my head, and then I refine and revise the answer out loud. So when your partner is trying to think of an answer to something, or telling a story, if you just jump in, thinking that he is taking too long, he will just stop trying to answer. Unfortunately, we women are somewhat impatient, and often don't get to find out the ending of the story. Even teachers have noticed how men and women in class respond to questions differently. Girls often jump in and answer, but boys take longer to process the info. Men think every word they answer very carefully, and craft sentences very slowly. So if you listen to your boyfriend, just be interested and listen. And then when he pauses, instead of jumping in, just wait a while. I mostly interrupt because I am just too excited for the answers and about the first part of what my boyfriend is saying. However, remembering to slow down and let him finish will make him happy, because he is thinking that you are patient and really interested. When I just slow down and wait, I can see that my boyfriend is really happy, and that also makes me happy. But I don't think it's too good to generalize because we're all very different after all. But there is proof that most women do this. So, make sure to bear that in mind too. And here's just a little extra tip for sticking with me this long. Comments that use words like always, never, can cause your boyfriend to tune out the entire conversation. I want to remind you again that a man's sense of self is defined through his ability to achieve results. They feel good about themselves when they achieve something. But he wants to achieve them by himself. That is why they are so resistant to correction or telling them what to do. It's important for men to show women that they can get to their goals. Even in small things, he doesn't want someone else doing those for him. And with that in mind, listen to this little story from the Great Relationship Advice book, Men Are From Mars. Tom and Mary were going to a party. Tom was driving. After about 20 minutes in going around the same block a few times, it was clear to Mary that Tom was lost. She finally suggested that he call for help. Tom became very silent. They eventually arrived at the party, but the tension from that moment persisted the whole evening. Mary had no idea why he was so upset. Mary thinks that she is loving him. And from her side, that's actually true. However, what Tom hears is, "I don't trust you, you are incompetent." So, this is basically an insult to him. I know it sounds crazy, but it is the truth. You have to remember that he is not ignoring your needs, he just doesn't like the way that you are approaching him. So just trust him. Make him think he can do it. That's a fantastic quality to have, and one that your boyfriend would really appreciate. He will feel so great when he thinks that he is loving a girl who believes in him. But that doesn't mean you need to always do this. There are certain times that you should start talking. Men really appreciate this in the right moments. So make sure to trust him. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.